2, we're live. Hello, guys, and welcome to Double A Crime Files. It's been a while. We've been on hiatus a little bit, simply because a lot has happened.
Life happens.
Life happened. I moved, so you guys won't have to hear the police sirens and the motorcycles. It's really quiet over here. And I got sick. COVID. It knocked me off my feet.
She was hallucinating, you guys.
I was delirious. I was so. I'm telling you to wear your mask. Don't come around
Take care
me.
of yourself. Don't be like us, where we're just like, oh, we're fine since we're at home, and then next thing you know, we get sick. Don't be like us.
I was wondering, like, how the fuck do I get COVID? I was like, I don't get COVID. I don't even leave the house. Well, my husband works in the hospital, so I thank my husband. He's pulling up, so you're gonna hear the door open, and then it'll be quiet. But we'll get into the ghost stories after he opens the door because I don't want to be interrupted. Get your butt upstairs. Don't worry about where your daddy is. Your butt better be upstairs.
What all has happened during our hiatus? Oh, I'm finally 30. I caught up with everybody in my freaking graduating class.
Yes. She had a birthday.
I did have a birthday, a 90s themed birthday. And as you guys can tell, I no longer have long hair. No.
Oh, and she dyed her hair.
I did. It went back black, and then my sister convinced me to do burgundy. So you can only see the burgundy to light. But I don't think I'll ever go blonde again, you guys. Like, a lot of people said that it looked good, but it did so much damage to my hair that I was like, I told my sister, you have to chop it off.
Yeah.
Like, it was horrible. So I probably will not ever bleach my hair again. I can't do that. I can't do any more wild stuff to my hair at all. I don't have white people hair. I'm sorry. I do not have white people hair that can withstand.
Hello. We had a comment.
Oh. It keeps telling me to.
We had a comment. You can't see the comments, so that's why I pop them up for you.
No, I see the comments.
Okay.
It just pops up on private. It automatically defaults to private chat rather than
everybody that comments. I show it across the screen. I show every comment. So what we're going to get into today, now that my husband finally walked in and the door and all the noise should be going down now. Should be going down now.
My computer just tried to tell me to restart and do an update.
No, this live, we're gonna have fun today. We are going to be telling ghost stories. These are not our personal ghost stories. These are off the internet, but some of them
you take them with face value, because honestly, I believe in ghosts. I've had my one experience when I was younger.
Yeah.
But you really, unless you live it, unless you experience it, you can't really determine if a person's telling the truth or not. Because, I mean, the internet's the internet. You can't take everything truthfully on the internet, you guys.
I've had my experiences with ghosts. I mentioned it in a previous live. I will tell you the last experience I had with the ghosts was in my last apartment. And I was trying to go to sleep. I was getting comfortable, and then I felt a hand wrap around my foot and pull.
Your fire alarms also go off.
Yeah, but they have not gone off since I've been here. Well, I think one time, but and my alarm said fire. I mean, not my alarm. My my security system said fire, but it was no fire. But I had no ghost here that I know of. I also been delirious and sick. So if there's a ghost here, they didn't mess with me. But
They
I've had
probably did, and she just
I
didn't
just
do
didn't
anything
care.
about it.
I've had a couple experiences in my life with ghosts. I've had maybe like 3 or 4 ghost experiences. Hold on, let me take. I'm taking my dress off, but don't worry, I have shorts that I take them. It gets hot when I do these things. So we're gonna go on and read some of these. They're interesting. They say that they're scary, but if you're like me, nothing is scary. Nothing's scary.
I'm a
But
scared cat.
I was like, Francie is different. So we're gonna
I'm
take turns.
terrified.
We're gonna take turns reading. And Francie, do you want to go first?
Well, I have actually. There was one that I had looked up. It's not really like a ghost story. It's mainly a You know how most ghost stories are based off of like a folk tale. If you guys don't know, I'm as much of a scaredy cat as I am. I love learning about folk tales from like different countries.
Y'all,
Like
she's Filipino.
there's a lot of superstitions
God.
in the Philippines. There's tons of them, and I mean, and they've done movies based on it. But there's one actually that I was reading in South Korea. So there's two. So one folktale is actually a lot of people say that it's true. A lot of people say they've experienced it. And a lot of them, have gone mentally ill because they've seen this. So there's a lady, if you guys have not known, and I think a lot of people know about the wide smile lady or like the open mouth lady. If you guys know, she wears like a surgical mask. It's based in Japan and South Korea culture. So she wears this surgical mask, and she basically comes up to like a lonely person that's walking in the street, of course, at night. Always happens at night. And she'll ask you, quietly and nicely if she looks pretty. Now, mind you, she's wearing a mask, which 90% of Asians wear. Before COVID, they still wore masks. So all you can see is literally like from here onto her eyes. So if you guys don't, a lot of Asian eyes are really pretty, believe it or not. They're super pretty. So, of course, if people say yes, she'll take off her mask. Her wide smile is basically like if you cut scissors on each side of your mouth and extends from like right like to your cheek, basically where the top of the mask is. So her mouth is open. There's no like teeth or anything. It's just like it's cut. So then she'll ask you again if you think she's pretty. Basically, if you're screwed either way. If you say yes, she will cut you like how her mouth is. If you say no, you die.
Does she want you to be like the Joker?
Basically, but like way freakier than the Joker. There's quite a bit. If you guys are into folk tales, go over to the Asian side folk tales. Go Thailand, even India, like all those places, and look up folk tales. But there's okay, so this one ghost story, it's actually a ghost story. Again in South Korea, there's this college. So back in 1993, 1992, 1993, there were two college students in their dorm. Back at that time in South Korea, they actually had an all women's college. There was no men allowed. They recently changed that just a few years ago for them to have men in that college, it's the women's college. So the two ladies were actually roommates. They went out. I think they were coming back from the library. I gotta look it back up. But anyways, they were coming back to their dorm. They noticed there is a strange man watching them across the street. And now, mind you, like again, no men are allowed in that college. So they didn't think anything about it. They thought maybe one of the students snuck in a boyfriend or whatever. But one of the roommates was like, something's not right, because she just felt something very eerie with this guy. He was wearing all black. You couldn't see his face. It was at night. So then they go back to their dorm room. Well, in the dorms, they have, the small window. And next thing you know, they see the guy pressed up against the window. Here's the problem. Their dorm is 4 flights up a building. No ladders outside. There's nothing. His face, his whole body is up against this window. So they freak out. Like, they think that they're seeing things, basically. So they run to their dorm master, or their what they call sub. Oh shit, I forgot what it's called. Basically, they were freshmen, and she was like a senior, like, college student, and she was ahead of that floor in the dorms. Anyway,
I know what you're talking about. It starts with the A.
Yeah, so they go to her. She comes rushing to their room and follows them, because she was like, no men are allowed. She's trying to protect these girls. Well, the guy's not there. Now they see a figure again across the street, all black. They literally see just a figure. So then the two girls are like, no, he was up against the window. Then the dorm aide was like, how is he across like up against the window? We're 4 flights up. There's just no way. Like, no, but we seen him. He was there. Like, he was up close. He was like peeking in and all this stuff. So for the next week, they just kept on seeing this man across the street. Whether it was daylight, whether it's nighttime, just seeing them, just standing there watching them. Not anybody else, but just them. So whenever they would ask somebody, hey, do you see this person across the street? Nobody says anything, because they're just like, no, we don't, no guys are supposed to be here. How stupid are you to have a guy here in the middle of the day? But they see him. He's not moving. So then they end up thinking that they're crazy. And you know how Asians are when they think that they're crazy. They don't want to go to a hospital. They don't like people thinking that they're crazy. So their last resort is basically killing themselves.
Well.
So the two girls killed themselves, and now they haunt the university, and their particular dorm room is closed off. They tried to open it back up, but apparently there's a lot of people that use that dorm and say that they don't feel safe, that they just, something's not right. They would get literally physically sick. So they completely closed off that dorm. Nobody is allowed, and they don't know how to get rid of the energy. Because they're like back there or in South Korea, they are so superstitious too, that they believe in shamans. And shamans are like psychics. They can see ghosts. They can hear them. They can whatever. Apparently, a shaman said that there are 2 ladies living there, and they won't go until the man is caught. Well, you don't know what man they're talking about.
Yeah, so how you see? That's weird.
So supposedly this is very true. I don't know how true it is, and I'm not fixing to go there and find out my damn self.
I was gonna say do that.
No, I'm not.
Go find out. Okay. Let me. I'm reading mine. I don't know how she remembers stuff off the top of her head. I don't.
Because I was literally so engrossed in it. I was like, who the hell does that? Because then it makes you ask questions. If that person was a ghost themselves.
Let me go back. Okay, I found the story I'm gonna read. And am I here? Am I clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. It's called Ghost Bro. I don't know who submitted it. This is the stories I'm reading are coming from the Huffington Post, so I'm not stealing them. I'm reading them. All right. Do my reader voice.
Oh gosh, she's gonna be super quiet when she does her reading voice, and I can't hear.
I have to because I have to go slow. I can't talk fast. All right. My house was built in 1904. It is a single family home, wood frame setting on a concrete block foundation. I've been living here for about 12 years. Of all the weird things that my siblings and me have seen or heard in this house, the one event, this one event is my favorite. This happened to my brother. About 10 years ago, my brother and his best friend started a garage band, playing mostly Spanish rock, alternative music, but in Spanish. His friends could only get together on Sunday afternoons. They would practice into the early evening, and they would usually call it quits by 8 p.m. This was the time I usually showed up and went to bed because I worked that graveyard shift. This happened in late fall, so the days were getting shorter. They had just finished a long session when the decision to head to someone's house came about. My brother handed his car keys to his buddy so they could load up the equipment. Everyone had filed out of the basement, but the tricky part was that they needed to walk all the way to the back of the basement, up the stairs, through the kitchen doorway, down the hall into the living room, and out onto the front porch. Everyone was outside sitting in my brother's truck waiting for him. My brother was walking up the back stairs when he remembered that he left his pancakes in a to-go container. Why does he have pancakes? Sitting on a speaker in the basement. He made the decision to go back. Now the basement is not clean. It's full of with full sight lines. There had been partitions made, and a broiler in the main heating unit were right smack in the middle. So after my brother walks back, he is about to retrieve his food container when out the corner of his eye he sees it. It is a shadowy figure right at his peripheral vision. This feeling of dread and uneasiness washed over my brother. When he had been taught that if you are in the presence of a spirit or a ghost and you felt the bad vibe, to say a quick prayer or to cuss at it.
I would
My,
cut that too. Hell.
my brother chose the latter. He basically just told it, hey, fuck you. I don't have time for this shit.
That sounds like you.
That's me. It's definitely me. My brother started to walk back to the back of the basement and briskly up the stairs, closing the doors and turning the lights off as he was walking out. The last light switch is on the opposite side of the door. Luckily, the door was open and the light from the street lamp was flooding the living room with its amber light. My brother said he felt something at his back, but at no point did he turn around. As he flicked the last switch, the living room went dark, as did the rest of the house. He stepped out. He pulled the door, closing it behind him, still holding his food container in one hand that's sprinty. He jogged down the few porch steps. He walked towards the front gate. Our house resides far from the main street, essentially having a large front yard but no rear garage. As he closed the gap between himself and his friend laden truck, he kind of smiled and thought things over in his head, mad at himself for speaking out when there was no reason. He climbed into the driver's side of the truck, putting on his seatbelt, getting ready to pull out the parking spot directly in front of the house when one of his friends asked, hey, wait, What about your brother? Isn't he coming with us? My brother answered, What do you mean? He went to work early tonight. He's already gone. Do you see his car anywhere? The next question they asked, So then who was walking behind you when you were leaving the house?
I'm sorry, first off, I wouldn't say shit to the ghost. My ass would be out in a heartbeat, leaving all the lights on. And I don't care if I got in trouble with my parents saying, hey, why are all the lights on? Like, no, bitch. All the because you guys know damn well when it comes to ghost stories, as soon as you turn off that light, that ghost is right behind you.
That
So you
was
don't turn off the lights.
that was funny because he was worried about his pancakes.
I would be too. Hell, if you pay for it, it's in a to-go container.
That's why I was like, that's crazy. She gonna be running, but she gonna have her
I'm
pancakes.
gonna have my food with me. Hell, if I can't get back into my house, I'm not fixing to go back hungry. You got me fucked up.
What? Okay, you go on with your story.
So there is this ghost story online, and it is called The Ghost of Oxford Milford Road.
Okay.
It says when Brad Gulp was a student at Miami University in Oxford, Ohio, there was a rumor that the town was one of the most haunted places in America. When Culp started an on-campus magazine, he couldn't wait to write about several of the area's most famous phantoms. Not long after his story published, though, he kept finding himself thinking about one ghost in particular, the ghost of Oxford Milford Road. It's a mouthful.
I was the same now.
As the story goes, many decades ago, probably sometime in the 1940s, there was a young man courting a young woman in a rural part of town. Because the woman's parents didn't approve of the match, each night he visited under the cover of darkness. After her parents went to bed, the young woman would sneak out of her farmhouse and flash the lights of her parents' car 3 times. Then her young suitor would ride his motorcycle down the road. One night he took the One night he took the turn right before her house, a little too sharp. The motorcycle went one way, he went the other. His injuries were so severe that he did not survive. Rumor has it, however, that his love-struck ghost still haunts this stretch of Milford Road. Curious Culp and his girlfriend, who is now, or previous girlfriend, now his wife, and a friend decided to head out there one night to see if they could verify the tale. His girlfriend was worried she'd be completely freaked out. According to Culp, she believes more of the ghost stories than he does. But he was mostly concerned that his suspicion, that none of this was actually true would be confirmed. On this particular night, as Culp passed the abandoned farm, an idea came to him and he pitched it to his now wife. Though reluctant, she relented, and Culp turned a short way into the farmhouse driveway. He killed the engine and flashed his lights 3 times. And quote, this is his quote. No joke, there was a single headlight that appeared 3/4 of a mile down the road. You saw it start to come, going pretty slow. It kept coming and coming. My wife was freaking out, and it was coming closer and closer. As a collision seemed imminent, Culp turned on his car's lights. He expected to see a kid on the bike bailing out from his prank, and now that he had been caught. But according to Culp, there was nothing there. The lights had just disappeared. They got out of the car. They walked around trying to figure out what it was they could have seen. And to this day, it was something that they still talk about and something that they cannot explain. If you get him and his wife around a campfire, they'll swear up and down that the story is true. And you're ever in Oxford, Ohio, consider parking for just a few minutes on Oxford Milford Road at night to test your own nerve.
Yeah, let's go do that.
You're from Ohio. Have you ever heard from that?
I'm not from Ohio. I'm from Tennessee. I lived in Ohio.
Well, you still were there.
No, I never did. I never heard of that.
I mean,
I'm
there's like a ghost stories like that in Shelbyville.
where I was at. Like, there's cathedrals like on every freaking street. So where I was at was like heavily Catholic, and they just don't talk like that. If they do, they don't talk like
Right.
like that. All right, I am going to. Okay, I read this one earlier, and to me, it's not scary. It's not scary at all, but I was like, this would be creepy to Francie, so I want to read it. Again, there's no author, and it's called The Whispers. Clear that throat. This is a story I do not tell often. I promise, sincerely, that this has scarred me for life. And although I looked into psychological explanations for what I've heard and natural explanations for what occurred, they remain unsatisfactory. When I was a child, I was scared of the dark. I swore to my mother I heard voices in it. They were not evil, but they were not familiar, and so they scared me. It was not uncommon in the middle of the night for me to wake up and hear whispers, as I would call them, when asking my mom. She figured they were just bumps in the night, and typical kids' nightmare material. I tried often to explain to her that it was more than that they sounded different from one another, the way people's voices do. On some nights, I would get so scared of these whispers that I would sleep in my mom's bed with her. It was an added bonus that the bathroom was directly outside her bedroom for my late night tinkles. I should add at this point that when walking out into the hall to go to the bathroom, you looked directly down the stairs that would lead into my living room, which is on the first floor. On the One such night around Christmas, I woke up and felt the need to relieve myself. I walked from the door and distinctly heard the phrase "look," and to my astonishment, a red light, almost like a spotlight, was cast upon the wall at the very bottom of the stairs. The light had no other source. It was by itself, and I was transfixed by it. Being a little kid, and it only being a few days from Christmas, I knew what that light was. It was Santa. How else could he get into my house to know that I was a good boy? I was so excited I began walking down the stairs to greet him, picking up my pace after the second step as he began to creep off the wall and fade into the darkness of my living room. Then that's when I heard him. A very strong masculine voice, different from the first. Not at all like my father's. Not to say that he isn't masculine. It's just distinctively different. It said, "Stop right now. Go back up those stairs."
It was Amber.
I listened. That's me. Definitely. I listened. I turned around, and what happened next, I'm not sure. I would believe I would believe if someone had told me this story. Like, I'm not sure I would believe if somebody told me this story. Looked up that sentence. After reaching the top of the stairs, I heard a very loud crash that sent me running back to my mother's bed, where I jumped straight under the covers and stayed there the whole night. When we awoke the next morning, the poinsettia lights, which are little Christmas lights that are flowers that glow red, my mother had put on the railing down the stairs were pulled straight down to the bottom of the stairs. Some were broken from what seemed like a forceful tear. They were laying in a single pile. The dry sink in my living room had fallen from the wall. Why is there a sink in the living room? Anyway, my mother could not explain it. My father was worried that we had been victims of a home invasion. My sister was crying. There was nothing missing. Nobody had broken in. There did not seem to be any reason that this had happened. And then I saw it, and I kept quiet about it because I was afraid that I could not force the words out of my mouth. There on the edge of the wooden dry sink, which had been facing up, were 3 indentations where the finish on the wood had been torn, almost as if a forceful grip. Something down there had grabbed it and threw it down. And that's what the bang was. I was mortified. After that day, I never heard a single voice again. I do not like to imagine what was waiting downstairs for me that night, if it was anything at all. But I can tell you that the reality that something had physically acted upon 2 things in my house near the bottom of that stairwell. After this, I never heard that whisper, which was sad because in some ways I would have liked to think the man or masculine energy that had stopped me from going down those stairs. This happened when I was 7. I'm 20 years old now, and because of this incident, I'm still afraid of the dark, especially shadowy stairwells.
Don't worry, dude. I'm 30 and I'm still scared of the dark.
That's what I was going to say. That's so crazy. She would have been creeped out.
I'm terrified of the dark and terrified of hallways. You guys have no idea. My aunt has this hallway that she turned into a library in her house in Oklahoma. I kid you not, I run from one end to the other because I'm terrified of it.
Yeah.
And this is the stupid part, and y'all gonna laugh. All because I noticed one scary book that had a scary picture.
Shut up.
I'm dead serious. And I ran from one because where my bedroom was, it was at the end of the house, and the living room or family room was at the opposite of that hallway. So you have to go through that thing. I'm telling you right now, I would run, and my aunt would get mad at me. Quit running in the house. And it would always be that one particular spot that I'm running. You guys, that's the main reason. I'm telling you, I'm a huge scaredy cat. Okay. There is one actually. I had saved it on my notes because your stories are like first person and mine aren't. Like, so this I don't know if it's really a ghost story, but this was reported in the news. Um, it is actually about a exorcism, but it wasn't really an exorcism, if you get what I'm saying. Like there was no priest involved or anything, just like weird stuff was happening. So this happened in August of 2016 in North London. 26-year-old Kennedy Ife began acting really strange and aggressive following a pain in his throat. He reportedly bit his father, threatened to cut off his own penis, and complained of a python or snake inside of him before his family restrained him to a bed with cable ties and excessive force. As the BBC reported, quote, the family then set about attempting to cure Kennedy through restraint and prayer over the next 3 days, the court was told. His brother, Colin Ife, told the police, quote, it's clear that this thing was in him, what we believe was a demon because it was not natural. It was clearly trying to kill him. We had to restrain him for himself. It was clear if we didn't restrain him, he would have tried to harm the people in our family. End quote. And mind you, that's his brother. Kennedy Ife had been bound to his bed for 3 days without medical attention when his brother called the emergency services, explaining that Kennedy was complaining of dehydration. He appeared to have developed breathing issues and was pronounced dead at 10:17 a.m. As the Independent I guess it's a news source, reported while police were at the house of Colin Ive, allegedly carried out a attempted resurrection. So his brother tried to perform the exorcism by chanting and praying for Kennedy Ive. All 7 of Kennedy Ive's family members were accused of manslaughter, false imprisonment, and causing or allowing the death of a vulnerable adult. A post-mortem examination revealed over 60 wounds, including a possible bite on Kennedy's body, and his father, Kenneth Ive, along with 4 of his brothers, sustained the same injuries as well.
Okay.
Kenneth Ive, which is the father, told jurors he ordered his son to take shifts using overwhelming force, but denied that an association with cults or secret societies played any part into the death. After a 4-day deliberation, all 7 family members were cleared of charges on March 14th, 2019.
Dang. That's my brother's birthday.
So it wasn't. This was, guys. We were looking up. I was looking up on Google ghost stories, and that was the thing that popped up.
But I also wasn't scary.
There's not a. Well, okay.
There's
We're
nothing
talking.
scary.
We're talking about you. Okay, so there is actually.
No, wait. You said you're talking about me. What do you mean you're talking about me?
You don't get scared easily. It would take something to happen to you physically for you to actually be terrified. If you're reading someone else's stuff, you won't really get scared.
Well, even the stuff that I went through, it wasn't scary. I didn't sleep when that hand grabbed me. I had to go in there. I wasn't scared. I was creeped out because that was the first time I've been touched by those. And by the time I went to sleep, it was like 7 o'clock in the morning. Jalen was waking up for school, and I said, like, Jalen, let me lay beside you since I know you're not going to sleep. And let me go to sleep. I literally had to go to sleep in my daughter's bed just to get some sleep. But I wasn't scared.
I mean, the only really ghost story that I have personally is at my parents' house. And my parents don't believe it, but I know because at my parents' house, the living room where the couch is, the front door's right here, the living room's right here, kitchen is off to the right, dining room. And then when you're sitting on the couch, is the hallway right there. You have the first right is the bathroom. First left is my bedroom. At the very back on the right is my parents' bedroom. And then on the opposite side, right beside my bedroom, is my sister's bedroom. I kid you not, I'm sitting on the couch. And of course, my mom, being Asian, she hates all the lights being on. Me being a scaredy cat, have to have all the lights on.
Oh, yeah.
But she was like, well, you have the lamp and you have the dining room light. The dining room light was right beside me. So I was like, that's fine. Hallway light was off. Okay. I kid you not, there was a white figurine that went from my sister's bedroom to my parents' bedroom, and then went to my bedroom. And I'm looking straight down the hallway and I know I was not seeing shit. So I was like, okay. But it stayed in my bedroom. So I was like freaked out a little bit. And I don't know where my sister was at that time, but I had asked my mom if I could sleep in my sister's room instead. My mom, of course, was like, I don't care where you sleep, really.
Take ass the bed, girl.
Yeah, she's like, just go to sleep. So since I felt safer in my sister's room, because one, my parents' room was across the hall and they didn't shut their door when they slept. So, and I don't like to shut my door when I sleep. So, left the door open, but then I felt basically like somebody was sitting on the bed. My sister's bed sits up higher. Like me being short, I have to have a running start into my sister's bed. Okay. So, I was like, who was sitting on my, on the edge of the bed, and I'm not fixing to go look. So when you're like a kid and you feel like there's a ghost, you have to hide all your body parts underneath the blanket,
Yeah.
including your head, and you can't like peek out because then you feel like something's gonna pop up right there. So
Why
that's what I
do
did.
we do that?
I don't know, but I couldn't breathe. Okay, because my sister has a thick ass blanket and I couldn't breathe. I was losing oxygen. So what I did was I tried to hide everything and just take my nose out just a little bit, just so I can breathe. And then I woke up, I woke up to the alarm, and I didn't turn it off because I was scared that it was still there. My mom comes in and she's like, you're gonna be late for school. And I was like, Mama, were you sitting on the bed? Of course, she got upset. She's like, why? Or she got smart ass with me. She's like, why would I be sitting on the bed while you're asleep? That doesn't make any sense.
I can hear her in the accent. I can hear it going on. Oh my god.
And someone was like, I was like, okay. And I
Because
said,
she's super rude. She
yeah,
looked at you.
I was
Why?
like,
What are you
"Hell,
talking?
I felt something sitting there." And she, being the Filipino woman, she does believe in superstitions, but she doesn't believe in ghosts like that. So she was just like, in her head, she's like, you need to be more afraid of people that are alive than are ghosts. I'm scared of both equally. Let's just get that straight. Okay. And so she was like, I told her, I was like, okay, well, maybe I was just feeling things, seeing things. And she said, you just need to go back to your bed tonight. Like, okay. Decided to go back. I didn't see the ghost coming around and gumming or whatever. So I was like, okay, maybe it is safe to go back to my bedroom. Of course, left my door open. I kid you not, you guys, I was in high school. I had a nightlight. Okay, I'm not even gonna joke around because I did have a nightlight in high school. But the nightlight scared me because my mom got me one of those that change colors. And anytime a room goes red, I get terrified. Don't give me red lights because I'm not fixing to be in that room with red lights.
No red light special for Arian.
No, like, I'm sorry. I don't associate it with sex or sexy stuff. No, I associate it with something's going to come out and kill me. Okay.
I don't think red should be associated with sex or sexy stuff. I think like a blue or a green.
Even if any guys,
That's
I
it.
have a cute little cat light. Okay, the little plushy cat light that changes
You
color, and I
you
cannot do the changing color because I get terrified. Okay, we're not
you're
fixing
too old. Arian, you are now in the 30 club. Welcome to the 30 club.
No.
This
And that makes it even cements the fact that I cannot have lighted lights like that because if something happens, my bones are the age of 100. Okay, so I cannot get up quick enough and run when something
girl, you
happens.
about to make
I'll just be
me.
like, I'm dead.
I'm about to eat some popcorn listening to you. This,
So we
I'm
just not.
going. I'm gonna read another story since you just told that story. This one's short.
I'm not fixing. Guys, no, I'm too old to be running away from ghosts. Okay, I'm sorry if y'all see me killed and there's no phenomenon, you know that it's a ghost, and like, well, she just laid there. She couldn't
Girl.
move.
Okay, I'm gonna read this really short story. It's a paragraph. It's called "The Grandfather." My grandfather told me this story about how one time he was sitting in a chair in front of the house when he heard his wife repeatedly calling him from the inside of the house. The thing is, my grandmother passed away a few years before that, but he told me that the voice was so pressing that he actually got up to look inside the house. And as soon as he got inside, he heard a loud crash behind him and turned around to see that the chair that he had been sitting in a few moments ago had been crushed by the cast iron gutter that fell on it. If he hadn't come inside the house, he probably would have been seriously injured. I don't know if this is paranormal or not, but every time I think about it, it sends chills down my spine. That's cool.
I see. I like those kinds of stories because those
Yeah.
are nice ghosts. They warn you, hey, something's fixing to happen.
I'm about to over popcorn. My stomach.
I don't know why people don't like skinny pop, but I like skinny
It's
pop.
good. It's not overly flavored. I'm so
Yeah, but
hungry.
it's like it's flavored, but a lot of people are like, oh, it tastes like cardboard. And I'm like, why, how would you know what cardboard tastes like? Are you sitting there eating cardboard?
Bruh. All
Like,
right.
I don't know. But anyways, okay. Um there's like a lot of folk tales, but I know I've told you guys this, but there is a why does like most ghost stories start with a white lady or a lady in a white gown?
Oh, I was like, wait, what?
That's like the most common.
I know you know
If you see a
98% of
ghost,
shit.
it's a female ghost with a white gown.
98%
Right.
of shit is made. Is it raining outside now?
Yeah, it's been raining over here, so it's still raining. But there's one superstition that us Filipinos, we will always forever believe. Okay, and I've told you guys this before. I know I have because it's my go-to. It's the lady with like the thorn crown.
Oh yeah.
So if you guys haven't heard, okay, you guys cannot get married the same year as an immediate family. You cannot get married the same year after the death of a family, um, or else it's known that this girl in a white dress and a thorn crown comes and either kills you or gives you bad luck for your family. Like you'll constantly see her. There's actually a movie on Netflix based on that, and I keep forgetting to like look it up and give it to you. But there is a movie based on that on Netflix. It's Filipino. It's in Tagalog, you guys. So you guys will just have to turn on the subtitles and sit there and read it
Yeah, find me the title.
because I mean, that would prevent you guys from getting too scared of the pop-ups. But I had a what was it in high school? We had or no middle school. We had a Japanese exchange student in school.
Wait, you said the movie has jump scares?
Yeah,
Hmm.
because
That's the
she
only thing
popped
I
out
don't
of
like.
nowhere.
I don't like jump scares only because my heart can't take that. And it's not scary. It's not scary. It's just unexpected. And I'm like, wait a minute, you gonna get shot. You don't know. I got a Glock everywhere I go. You gonna get
Right.
shot.
It does do jump scares.
But
And
I
I
like it.
refuse to watch it. My mom has the VHS tape of it, okay, you guys, when it first came out in VHS, not DVD.
I was
Because
like, girl,
this was
I
VHS, okay. So anytime I seen I got smudge in my glasses. Every time I see that title, I get freaked out. I also do not watch Jeepers Creepers.
that's not even scary.
I do not do Jeepers Creepers because of the simple fact that of the song, and now I got that song stuck in my head, and now I'm terrified. So we not
Where'd you get those?
after this podcast. Guess what? I'm gonna be watching Family Guy. Get that song out of my head.
Where'd you get those eyes?
I also do not. I do not do haunted houses, you guys, at all. I done kicked a poor employee at the haunted house in between his legs because he freaked me out.
Oh, it's my turn to read a story. Jessica's on her way, so I gotta hurry up.
Is she
Um,
close by?
she had left her mama's house like a minute ago. She should be close by.
Oh
Okay,
yeah.
let me read this quick one. It's called The Following. My older sister has a ghost that's followed her around for years. I lived with her once for about 3 months, and so much weird stuff happened in that time. All my sister would say to me when I mentioned it was that her ghost didn't like me being there. Things Things like going to bed with everything locked up and switched off, and waking up in the morning with the back door open, lights on, kettle switched on. One day, my sister and I were getting ready to go out, and I asked to borrow her liquid foundation. I used it and put it back where she kept her makeup. 10 minutes later, she was asking me for it, and it's nowhere to be seen. She accused me of taking it and made me buy her a new one, and refused to listen to my side of the story. About a year or so later, when she was packing to move into a new house, she found the makeup in a shoebox with some old letters. The shoebox was zipped up in a suitcase that was underneath the bed. But probably the most scared I've ever felt was one afternoon when I was the only one in the house, which never happened as 4 people lived there. I arrived home from work and headed straight to the bathroom. All the doors, windows, etc. were closed. I was standing in the bathroom and started squeezing a pimple on my chin when a female voice in the hall said, "Stop picking your zits." It was loud enough. It sounded real enough. And at that time, I thought it was my sister. So I laughed and I told her to fuck off and asked what she was doing for dinner. No answer. I stuck my head out into the hall. No one was there. I searched the house from top to bottom, and there was no one home. I sat out on the front porch until someone else got home because I didn't want to be alone. That's crazy.
She was protecting her because if you keep picking your zits, you will get scars on your face. That ghost was telling her to quit picking at her face.
Hold on, let me do it real quick. Hold on.
So I commend that ghost. That's hilarious.
When she said I went outside and sat on the front porch, I was like, "Oh yeah, that's orange."
I'm sorry. I would have cussed out that ghost too, hell. But then it would click in my head like, wait a minute. I would be going outside. I'm like, look.
That was so funny
today.
All right.
But if you guys have any ghost stories, let us know.
Please, I think I put our information in the comments, didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely hit us up. Email us at that email that's in there. Tell us stuff. We'll read. We are gonna come back to our regular schedule starting today started it. We needed a break. We really needed a break. But now Thursdays and Sundays you'll see us, but it'll be earlier because we have to alter our schedule. So
we have lives, you guys.
Yeah, and I do more than just this podcast. I do a lot of things, so I have to spread myself out. So, with that being said, see us Thursday around this time, around the same time ish, maybe. We're not going to do any more late nights. So, Thursday, we have our cases ready for you, and they are good and intriguing. And you don't want to miss Thursday. The comeback of our crime cases. You don't want to miss it. Other than that, with that update, this concludes our Sunday Funday ghost story.
Ghost and fork tails.
And we love you all, and we'll see you Thursday. Check us out on the same platforms: Facebook, YouTube, Twitter. Oh no, wait, not Twitter. I'm on Twitch. Oh Jesus.
We don't know how to tweet, you guys.
We don't know
Twitter. Old. We don't know Twitter.
You can Twitter us, but it's just gonna be there.
Mm-hmm.
But hit us up. Let us know what you want us to talk about for Sunday Funday, because we're not accepting any more cases for Thursday because we have too many cases. But Sunday Funday topics, definitely comment below. DM us, put it on our wall. You got all of our contact information. Give us topics for Sunday. So we'll see you Thursday.